Toyota is winning, and the entire car industry can only applaud, because Toyota is back at it again, dominating the market just like in its golden days. They're sticking to their core and old concept, which is why they've been killing the game, and are you even surprised at this point? These are just facts, and to be honest, there is more to the story than just that. Now, with the electric car hype starting to fizzle out like a deflating tire, Toyota's back in the driver's seat, leading the pack once again. It's like they've been biding their time, waiting for the right moment to reclaim their spot at the top. And let's face it, sticking to what makes good old-fashioned sense is proving to be the winning formula. Because it looks like Toyota's really shaken up the competition. Toyota knocked it out of the park by almost doubling its operating profit last year, swooping in to steal the crown from Tesla as the reigning champ of profitability in the automotive world. And let's be real, it was kind of funny that Tesla held that spot for a bit, but that was mostly because they slapped some hefty price tags on their rides. See, Tesla had this whole gig going on where they were like the cool kids on the block with their electric cars. But truth be told, the early adopters jumped on that bandwagon and now they're struggling to move units off the lot. Then comes Toyota, strutting in and saying, "Hold your horses, electric cars, slow down a bit." They're not big on electric vehicles themselves, except for that one model that didn't quite hit the mark. So they took a step back, played it smart, and focused on what they do best, selling actual cars, and boy did it pay off. The year 2023 was nothing short of spectacular, witnessing a jaw-dropping surge in operating profit that nearly doubled, soaring to an impressive $24.4 billion. Quarterly sales followed suit, blasting off by a whopping 24%, smashing through the stratosphere to reach a monumental $74 billion. So, what fueled this meteoric rise to the top? It's all about the insatiable hunger for Toyota's offerings in key markets like Japan and North America. Let's not forget the star players here. Toyota's hybrid models, renowned for their fuel-sipping prowess. They stole the show, propelling sales to unprecedented heights. This brand has been killing it with their hybrid tech for ages, always staying ahead of the curve. And guess what? They're still at the top, delivering rides that are just the perfect mix of eco-friendliness and kick-ass performance. But compared to the rest of their lineup, their EV did well too. I mean, they sold a whopping 29,000 EVs in just one quarter. That's not just impressive, that's downright mind-blowing. It's like they're leading the charge toward an electrified future, and they don't even want to. This guy has been killing it. But this thing goes deeper than this, and to be honest, the issues and the solution are a bit complicated, so let me break it down. You see, the days when electric cars were just toys for the affluent with pockets deeper than the Mariana Trench are going away. Thanks to trailblazing brands like BYD and Volvo, the fantasy of cruising in your own electric vehicle is no longer a distant dream, but a tangible reality for the masses. With price tags descending from the stratosphere to something more akin to earthly realms, it is as if you're witnessing a crazy phenomenon unfolding right at your local dealership. But most American-based companies are going the other way. This is a problem, and it is even a surprise that Toyota is winning. Just look at the way they're changing up their lineup. Look at the Land Cruiser. It went from being an expensive luxury car to something more of a realistic SUV that a family person can have. Plus, they're making an even cheaper Land Cruiser. So, what's igniting this revolution is like a cocktail of factors, really. Initially, electric vehicles made a grand entrance onto the stage, captivating minds with promises of a cleaner, greener future, top-notch technology, and rides so tranquil you could hear a pin drop. Yet as the dust settled, some folks found themselves questioning whether EVs were truly their cup of tea. Worries about range anxiety, the availability of charging stations, and naturally the cost-effectiveness of it all began to creep into the conversation. And truth be told, anyone who knows about cars knows that Toyota doesn't play around when it comes to reliability. So even though they don't have a lot of offerings, the little they have has been relatively better. And you've got to give it up to them. They faced their pesky supply chain disruptions and came out victorious. Do you remember the chip shortage? That was not a problem for these guys. They straight up optimize their production game, making sure they're still cranking out rides like nobody's business. And you know what's wild? They didn't just survive, they thrived. That's some next-level strategic thinking and operational wizardry, right? This is all happening while Tesla finds itself navigating a contrasting narrative. With successive price slashes across its vehicle lineup, Tesla took a hit on profit margins, experiencing a whopping 23% plunge in gross profits compared to the previous year. Despite clinging to profitability, Tesla's margins fell shy of expectations, sparking worries about its overall valuation. But this thing is not just about electric giants, it's bigger than that. There is a bigger reason, so let's talk about it. Watch carefully because electric cars and their prices are starting to fade away. And over the past few years, scoring a used Tesla was like winning the lottery, except you had to pay extra cash instead of pocketing it. Sounds insane, right? These bad boys were practically flying off the shelves. The demand was through the roof, and the supply couldn't keep up with the frenzy. And you know what happened next, don't you? Prices shot up quicker than a Tesla hitting ludicrous mode. But here's the plot twist. The tides are turning. People are realizing these cars aren't exactly what they had in mind. They're hitting the market fast. Take Volvo for instance. They only churned out cars in 2022 and 2023, and nobody is clamoring for those 2022 models. And guess what's dawning on everyone? This whole electric car craze might just be a fantasy. It's not going to dominate the roads. It's not going to make anyone a fortune. And all those folks who jumped on the bandwagon, they might find themselves scratching their heads, wondering where they went wrong. The writing's on the wall, folks, and it's already happening. Let me take you back to 2019. Those were the days. Back then, half the market was flooded with these budget-friendly gems. But those glory days seem like a distant memory now. Snagging a ride under the $20,000 mark is like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of grass. Right now, these bargain beauties only make up a meager 12% of the used car market. I mean, talk about slim pickings. But hey, let's call it like it is. People can get a bit greedy, can't they? It's like everyone suddenly out here is asking for an arm and a leg for a used set of wheels. Thankfully, the tides seem to be turning. Prices are starting to come back down to earth, and it's still like the prices are doing a weird dance because those new rides are always coming with hefty price tags. So it's no wonder sellers are shooting for the stars with their used car prices. They're over here saying, well, if you want to fork over 50 grand for a shiny new toy, why not drop 22 grand for my gently used ride? But mark my words, it's just a waiting game till those shiny new car rates start taking a nosedive. Why? Because let's face it, not everyone's rolling in dough. Will the masses be shelling out 50, 60, 70, or even 80 grand for a brand spanking new ride? That's a tough sell. So when the dealerships finally wise up and lower those sky-high prices, used car rates take a dip too, just like clockwork. We're seeing it happen already, but we've still got a long way to go before we hit jackpot territory. So right now, patience, my friends, is the name of the game here. If you're eyeing a used set of wheels, it's time to channel your inner Zen master. Trust me on this one, the tide will turn and those sweet deals will come calling your name. There's still hope shining bright. There are hidden gems waiting to be discovered at prices that won't leave you crying over your bank balance. But what do you think? What's your opinion on this? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.